Yeah. Hi everybody. Hello, welcome to the last video of this Mars series. It's taken us a while. I think half a year, maybe even more. When did I start with this? It was last year. It was last year winter. And now it's it's about to be autumn. Anyway, guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to this Mars and Pisces video. So all my Mars and Pisces that I know have been waiting forever. Shame, you guys always wait forever for everything. Like, everything takes a lot longer for you guys, but shout out to you guys because I feel like you guys have patience. Maybe even more so than Tauruses, but that's whatever. As always, before we begin, please go and check out my IG page, my astrology Instagram page, my TikTok Instagram page over here. All of them over here. Also, I have a yoga channel that I have not been active on, but I will be as soon as this video is out. So go check that out and go follow that TikTok as well. There's so many things going on. But yeah, guys, without further ado, also just a warning, I actually think I might have to finish this at another venue if my mom is not done in the time span that she said she was going to be done with doing whatever she's doing right now. Yeah, but anyway, we're just chilling. It's a cool Sunday, and it is Pisces season. The moon is in Scorpio today, and what a great way to close off this whole series. I'm so glad to be done with this. Next up is going to be the sun sign series, so look out for that. Anyway, guys, yeah, let's get to it. So what is Mars and what is Pisces, right? So Mars is our fuel, as I always say. I've been saying this 12 times. This is the 12th time I say this. But Mars is our fuel. Mars is the thing that Mars is our energy. If you ever low on energy, just do your Mars sign, because your Mars sign helps you cultivate energy. Right, it's the thing that gives you passion to do something, the intention behind why you're doing something, your intentions, your motives, whether they be obvious motives or ulterior motives, an agenda. What's your agenda? That's Mars. You know what I'm saying? Mars is your anger, your sex language. If Venus is your love language, Mars is your anger language, your hate language. What you do when you're frustrated or irritated or annoyed or hateful. How does that externalize itself? That's Mars energy. Mars is very personal. It's a selfish planet, so whereas Venus is about how can I help and how can I be helped, Mars is about how can I help myself and how can I use others to help myself. You know what I'm saying? It's all about me. That's why Aries, Scorpios, Capricorns, they be selfish sometimes, because they're always thinking about their own motives, their own selfish needs. Because Mars is really also about our needs. Venus is about what we require in terms of relationships and in terms of interacting with other people or things, But Mars is about how you can help yourself and your internal, help your emotions. But for example, like if you feel any emotion, right? Like let's say you have a favorite emotion. Like I think everybody likes to feel happiness. I know some people like feeling sadness. But even whatever emotion that you like to feel, it's because it's somehow you gain something from that, right? You feel like you're gaining something from that. So Mars is all about that. It's all about what are you doing for yourself, without having to think about everybody else, like without you having to think about how you can help other people, without you having to think about how you can be of service to other people. It's more so about how you can use external things and internal things to help yourself, but the good side about Mars is it teaches you to be motivated, to self-motivate, because the negative side of Venus would be you need other people to validate you. You need things. Taurus aspect needs things to validate themselves, things to feel comfortable. Libra aspect, they need people to validate them. Even things too, because Libras be, materialistic too. But Mars teaches you to motivate yourself and Mars energy is You could not have anything, but if you feel in your heart, if you feel it in your body that you are the shit, you're validating yourself. So that's Mars energy, your passion, how you can your passions, what you're passionate about, and the feel or the passion that keeps you doing whatever it is that you're passionate about. Mars is selfish, though, as I did say. Mars is a selfish planet. It's a selfish thing. It's all about what I can do for myself, but I think essentially Mars teaches you to stand on your own 2 feet, and have your own back and make decisions for yourself. But yeah, that's Mars energy, It's about your instincts as well. Primal animal instincts. So fighting, war, going to war, like how you are when you are in an argument. How you revenge even. That's Mars energy. How you get back at defending yourself. Mars energy is defensive, but also it attacks. So Mars energy is all about how you attack a situation, how you attack things. How you defend, also defending your honor, defending your friend's honor too. Excuse me, because essentially, like if you're defending your friends, they essentially do something for you. Like they comfort you, and like we all need people in our lives. We all need community. Right, we all need like people in our lives to help us out, because as humans we're not islands, we can't exist solely alone. That's horrible. So even in that, needing people is a selfish thing, but it doesn't always have to be. Just once again coming back to what you need, what you personally need for yourself. Right, so that's Mars energy. Then we have Pisces energy. What is Pisces? Also, happy Pisces season to everybody that's watching this during Pisces season, and all the future people that are going to watch this during Pisces season. Happy Pisces season to you guys. Happy belated birthday or happy future birthday, I don't know. But anyway, Pisces is ruled by the 12th house of the subconscious or your unconscious. I think subconscious is more like 12th house, but still the underlining theme of things that are not things that you unconsciously showing out, like you're not allowing that to be perceived, unlike the first house, because right after the 12th house is the first house, and the first house is what we can see, what everybody else can see from us, because that's what is being presented out there. So just behind that that perception, that consciousness that we are all aware of, because first house is all about what you are aware of, what you're consciously aware of about yourself, and everything that affects you. So 12th house, that's the area of life where you don't know what's going on. You're really unsure of. It's like, just imagine if you were knocked out, and none of us get like knocked out too often, or unless you black out type thing. Like just think of a time where you were like drunk, like you had no recollection of what you were doing. In those moments, like when we're drunk, when we're high, when we're on a substance, we are in our 12th house. Even when we were in the womb, like we were in our 12th house, but we had no I guess recollection, not even recollection, but we had no connection to ourselves. Like we didn't have a sense of self. 12th house is all about your connection to everything else other than yourself. This is where you kind of disappear, you lose your identity. That's why even in your dreams, like depending on the dreams that you have, but I think your dreams are like a collection of everything that you go through emotionally, everything that you experience emotionally, and all your, I guess, unconscious desires, unconscious feelings, your unconscious things that you aren't aware of in your everyday life. Because also the opposite to the 12th house of the 6th house, right? And the 6th house is about things that you do on a daily basis. Your responsibilities, your duties, the things that you need to be aware of. Like right now, this is my duty, my obligation is to make these videos. I don't do it daily. It's not a daily practice, but daily we all brush our teeth, we work, we go on our phones, we drink water, we food, we eat, we exercise, whatever. These are things we have to do, right? And while doing this, we're conscious that, okay, I am working right now, I am conscious that I am doing this. But in our dreams, and it's kind of like, it's also like, 6th house, you have control over things. You have control over what you choose to do. You have control over brushing your teeth or not. You have control over driving a car. Like you're telling your body to do things. But when we tap into 12th house energy, all control is lost, and this is more so of a feeling. Because if you think about feelings, you can't necessarily control your feelings, and even in your dreams, yes, you can learn to control your dreams. I'm still learning. Yeah, no, let me not even front like I've been practicing learning my dreams, but I feel like you can. We all know astral traveling, whatever. I've never really done it. I don't know how to do it, to be honest. I don't think it's possible to astral project. I don't even think it's okay. Let me not say it's not possible, because honestly, anything is possible. But I haven't tried, to astral project or whatever. My dreams are mostly just like, I guess, prophecies, but even in that, you can't really control what you dream, and you can't control like what happens in your dreams, in your subconscious. These are just things that it's like the 12th house is all about your connections to, once again, emotions, right? You can even say connections to God. It's also about, your dreams, imaginations, illusions. What else? You can even say creativity, your creativity. 12th house births imagination is creativity. Come on, you know what I'm saying? But if you think about that, like, you don't really, even like being born with an imagination, I feel like you can't really control that. You can't control the things that happen in your subconscious mind. Okay, maybe let me say you could, because also it all has to do with what you do throughout the day, the 6th house, because the 6th house and every opposite house, they affect each other. So everything that you do on a daily basis on the 6th house will affect your dreams, so I guess you can have some kind of control of your dreams depending on the things that you do on a daily basis, depending on the routines that you have on a daily basis. Like if you pray, and you can ask your ancestors to send you like messages through your dreams and stuff, or you can, I don't know, paint, and somehow that affects your subconscious. Or if you watch a whole bunch of horror movies, then that affects your subconscious. You know what I'm saying? Like you get paranoid because of the things that you. So actually, I take that back. Yeah, definitely, you can control what happens to you subconsciously, because a lot of the times our subconscious mind is just triggered by the things that we do on a daily routine. So, and daily routine, 6th house, it's all about what we consume, how we maintain our body. So that stretches out to what we eat, but what we consume in terms of like what we see, what we listen to, music, what we listen to on the television, what we listen to from our family, our friends, school, whatever, work. By the way, I'm in school now, you guys. Yeah. But all of these things will affect our subconscious. Once again, using the example, if you watch a horror movie, like, you ever know when you watch a horror movie, like afterwards you kind of feel scared, because subconsciously now you put your emotions, your subconscious mind into that state of being, of living in that world. Same thing, even like after you watch a movie, like, tell me you don't watch a movie, and especially to all my Mars and Pisces people, tell me you don't watch a movie and you resonate with a character, and then right after that you feel subconsciously that you are that character. So like, the subconscious is a very fragile thing. It's very, very fragile. It's even hard to explain what it is, because it's like a blank canvas. Your subconscious is basically that. It's a blank canvas. It's anything and everything at the same time. You can make anything of your subconscious depending on the environment that you put your subconscious in, and depending on what you do on a daily basis that paints that empty canvas of your subconscious. You know what I'm saying? Because if I think about it now, your dreams are really just an emotional accumulation of everything that you've been doing and all the feelings that you were feeling throughout the day, throughout the week. And then you sleep, and then you dream about these things, and dreams are all symbols, but we don't even know what they mean. Like, sometimes we don't know what they mean, sometimes you can kind of pinpoint it, but depending on like who you are, you can make your dream out to be anything that you want it to be. You can give meanings to your dreams, and you and I can have the same dream, but how we interpret that dream can be so different. which is why like the mutable houses, specifically the 12th house, actually let me even say the mutable houses, the 12th house specifically is like so fluid and so ambiguous and so vague. Like it's really just about how you work with it. So even when they say like every day you program your mind, you program your subconscious mind, like you can just erase your like everything that has been accumulated in your subconscious mind, your 12th house, and you can paint it with whatever else you want it to be, you know, and then give that a meaning. You know, 12th house is really like tricky. It's really, really, really tricky. Super tricky. But basically, Pisces is ruled by the 12th house. It's ruled by the 12th house, that very tricky, lucid, slippery house, that area of life where anything is possible. It's just an imagination. I think the 12th house is the creation realm, to be honest, you know, because I think whatever like unconsciously, like if you unconsciously have self-doubt, then it presents itself consciously through you kind of being maybe worried about how you appear, you know, worrying about what people say about you, and, you know, you take things personally, you know what I'm saying? Like everything that we do, even our self-worth, you know, the friends that you have affect your self-worth, affects your subconscious mind. The friends that you have, 3rd house, affects your mind. Your family members, 4th house, affects your subconscious mind. You know, dating, going into relationships, and the things that you enjoy doing affects your subconscious. Your work, everyday life, 6th house, affects your subconscious. Your intimate relationship, 7th house, affects your subconscious. Your 8th house, you know, your desires, secrecy, things that you keep in the dark, affects your 12th house, subconscious. You know, your belief system, 9th house, affects your subconscious. The career that you're in, the career that you're working so hard to build for yourself, that affects your subconscious too, you know, because all of these areas of life, we feel a type of way about them. You know, you feel a way about yourself, you feel a way about how you know, your self-worth. How do you feel about your self-worth? You feel a way about your friends, you feel a way about your family, you feel a way about the romantic things that you are into and the things that you enjoy doing. You feel a way about your daily life and your job and your food, things that you have to do on a daily basis. You feel a way about your relationships, you feel a way about your desires, you feel a way about your belief system, you feel a way about your career. 11th house, you feel a way about you know, the internet, social media, connecting to people, this widespread of information, TikTok, you know, so much information. We all feel a way about these things, and all of these things accumulate, they affect us subconsciously. So many things that we do throughout the day with people alone that affect us, you know. And also I want to say, before I continue saying that, is that 12th house also rules isolation, you know. So, you know, hospitals, jails, whatever. But it's just really like, how are you when you're all alone, you know? After all of that has been accumulated, how are you like when you're all alone by yourself, when you're isolated away from people and things, you know what I'm saying? Because even when you go to your dream, like when you're dreaming, you are all alone. You're just going inside of yourself, experiencing yourself. But like, and everything that you're experiencing, you have to just decipher, like, okay, what is this? You know, I think that's why everybody should actually, you know, create meanings for their own dreams, and not like, because obviously like nothing is new under the sun. Our ancestors have also dreamt similar dreams to us, so maybe they have more wisdom in terms of, if you dream about a bird, then it means this. If you dream about a snake, then it means this. If you dream about a couch, it means this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they have more wisdom, I don't know. But at the same time, I feel like you could also create your own meaning, and subconsciously you will, if you believe that, then that's it. That will be it. Then that will be your reality, because your 12th house will also affect your 6th house of reality. You know what I'm saying? You know? Anyway though, that's a 12th house. It was isolation, you know, places where you are isolated. So I'll even say, yeah, dreams, when you're dreaming, that's a place of isolation. So think of everything that you feel when you're all alone by yourself and you're forced to feel those feelings, you know. You're forced to go inside of yourself, because even going back to it being an unconscious house, right? Like throughout the day, when you're in your own personal bag, like when you're in your rising sign, you're not necessarily in let me say this, when you're living your everyday life and your personality is shining, they may be specific things that you do that are unconscious that you don't know you do. I'm an Aquarius rising, so I have Capricorn in my 12th house, right? So, and both of these are ruled by Saturn. But in terms of my rising, my personality is very cool, calm, collected, eccentric, weird. But I'm unconscious and unaware of the fact that I'm also kind of dry. I'm serious. I'm maybe a little intimidating. I'm hardworking. I have a lot of fear because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn induces so much fear. I might have like a lot of anxiety. Let me say anxiety. It's really anxiety. And I may have, I may be unaware that I come across in this way, but other people may sense this. They may sense that I'm a little bit aloof, intimidating, whatever, right? But they may not necessarily pinpoint like, oh, this is where it is, like this is why you're like that, this is what it is, because they're only seeing Aquarius, they're seeing my rising, they're seeing eccentricity. So even with you guys, like people, Aries risings, you may not be aware that you're intuitive. You may not be aware that you have an intuitive vibe about you, that you are that you're spiritual, that you're actually really emotional, but there's a thing, like people can kind of sense it in you, but we may not be able to pinpoint it because what we're seeing is Aries. We're seeing the fiery passionateness, but the reasoning behind it is Pisces shit. So even with me, the reasoning behind my Aquarius shit, me being eccentric and whatever, is because unconsciously I'm actually really anxious, or I'm nervous, or I just want to be seen in a specific way that I can control. You know what I'm saying? So that's 12th house shit. There's so many reasons behind our personality and why we choose to express ourselves, aka first house, the way that we do. It's because it's packed with 12th house shit. The unconscious. Even now, like if you think about when you were in the womb, like you had no identity, right? And then when you were birthed out and your mom gave birth to you, and then you started developing a personality, it's because your mom had an influence on you, right? So your mom kind of acted as your universe, your 12th house, your unconscious self. So you were soaking in all of her thoughts, all of her unconscious emotions, and then you developed as a person, and you developed a personality, but then you don't know why you are the way that you are, but it's because you adapted that from your source, aka the 12th house, aka your mother, when you were in the womb. So 12th house it's deep, but it's also like really, we don't know how to explain it also as astrologer. Well, we can, but there's so many words we can use, but anyway, 12th house, Pisces is ruled by the 12th house. It is also ruled by Neptune, which is, the stories we tell, illusions, the dreams that we have, how we interpret those dreams, but on a collective thingy, a collective basis, because Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto are all generational planets. So as a generation, what are the stories we tell as a generation? How do we generationally feed our own illusions? What is the generation's idea of creativity? What is the generation's collective idea of the perfect imagination? You know what I'm saying? And right now, the perfect ideal life is being rich, and but that's also influenced because Pluto is in Capricorn, and now Neptune sextiles that, so it's easy for all of us to dream of a better life status, and I mean, status has always been there, but I think we all just dream about that collectively. We all want to live lavishly, softer life era, And then what else? It's ruled by Jupiter. It's actually ruled by Neptune, but ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion, your spiritual experiences, how you learn, your travel, but emotional travel, because it's Pisces now. But Jupiter basically expands whatever experience that you are experiencing at that moment. Jupiter is going to expand all those experiences. So even if it's emotional experience, that's why that's why Pisces have big emotions, because Jupiter expands that shit, and also they exalted in Venus, so they have a lot of love for shit. But also ruled by 12th house, and 12th house is also the house of escapism, you know. And then it's a water sign, it's a mutable water sign, so they're fluid, and they're literally like the most fluid of all the fluids. I think second runner-up would be Gemini, because they are also just as fluid, you know. But yeah, Pisces is super fluid. It's just it adapts to every emotion, everyone's emotions, without even trying, you know. Fluidity, mutability, meaning adaptable, once again, changeable, unstable, quick to change, basically, you know. And this is why, like, your Pisces friends, like, they are different in different situations. They're not like fixed signs where they will be the same no matter what. Us, you know, we all have a Leo friend. They are the same. Like, they're loud bitches no matter where they are, no matter who they are with, and that's just them. But your Pisces Gemini friends, they are different depending on the situation, depending on where they're at, depending on the people. And that's the Pisces archetype, right? So we put all of that together. We put Pisces and Mars. We have some. Anyway, never mind. But we put that together. We have somebody whose passions are also very elusive, right? But also going back to Jupiter. Jupiter is all about, as I said, spirituality, right? And the Pisces sign itself, because it's so mutable, sometimes it needs support, because I think by itself it's just too unstable. It's wishy-washy. It's not well, it actually is fickle. It's kind of fickle. It's fickle, just like Gemini. No, but it's not stable. So it needs support, you know. But the support that it gets is from spirituality. It's from its illusions, its creativity, you know, its connections to God, connections to ancestors, connections to Mother, even to source. Let's just say that, connections to source, you know. So when we put that in Mars, you're passionate about spirituality. And I know a lot of Pisces. I know a Pisces girl who's a Capricorn sun, Capricorn moon, was a Pisces Mars, and she's so passionate about praying. And she's a Christian, right? But she's so passionate about praying. She's passionate about her religion, you know. Like, she posts about it, like she's so passionate about it. Like, even she's the type of person, I'm sure, like, I haven't seen her pray, we haven't prayed together, but I'm pretty sure she's the type of person who, like, she'll cry if she starts praying, for real. And I feel like Pisces Mars, you guys, like, do that. Like, y'all really cry when you start praying, or you cry, or you just get passionate about talking about your religion or your spiritual practices, you know. And even I know Pisces placements, Pisces Mars specifically, you guys, like, because this is Mars, right? This is your energy. So I feel like you guys get energy from praying. But the thing is like, because, you know, the opposite is Virgo. Virgo is the doer, the people who do the things. I'm on Mars and Virgo, by the way. So my passions lie in my daily routines. Like, I get fueled emotion, like, I get energy from cleaning and stuff. You guys don't, like, your energy levels are usually low. So I feel like for you guys to feel a sense of energy, you guys pray about it, you know, or you meditate, or whatever spiritual practice that makes you feel closer to God. But I know you guys pray, like, you guys are prayer warriors. You pray 6-7 times a day, you know, or like 10 times a day even. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not even a prayer, just like communicating outwardly to God, like, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I'm feeling. And it's like you guys feel everything so deeply, and like so big. Like, you have big feelings, not intensely like Scorpios, but you have big, large feelings. Also, I have a friend now, shout out to her if she's ever gonna watch this, but she's like a Cancer sun, Pisces moon, Pisces Mars. And also, I thought she'd be like aggressive, because anything conjuncting Mars, like especially the moon conjuncting Mars, brings for more people, like, for, you know, aggressive people, because you're emotionally connected to your energy and stuff. But I found like she kind of gives me Sag vibes. Like, she could be a Sagittarius vibe, not like super sassy and bossy, but I think that's her Cancer filtering that out. But I find like, if you are watching this, not my friend, but if anybody else in the world is watching this and you're like a Cancer moon conjuncting your Cancer Mars, I feel like you guys are, I guess, more expressive. Like, because I feel like the Pisces energy could be very introverted, you know, but I feel like having Mars and Pisces kind of extroverts your Pisces. So it's kind of like, it feels more like a Sagittarius vibe, you know. Both of you, Mars and Pisces, are kind of messy, obviously, unless you have like Capricorn placements. Capricorn placements. Taurus placements are messy. if you have Virgo placements, you probably could be messy, but I feel like you have times where you're like, okay, I have to fix my life and organize myself, but I know that Pisces Mars, like, and even if they're not spiritual, like, they're definitely into astrology, or they're into human design, or they're into I don't know, whatever it is that they're into, but usually most of the time, especially if they have, sometimes maybe if they have Cancer placements, they probably will stick to their religion, or let me say, if they have fourth house placements, they probably will be more they'll cling onto their religion that their mothers had introduced them to. But they're always, like, I know Pisces Mars are always connected to some kind of connection to God, or something to connect them to understanding everybody's emotions on a more I guess direct way. Because I feel like if you encounter Pisces Mars who they're not religious, or they're not into astrology or anything to kind of help them navigate the world, then these are the Mars and Pisces that are so chaotic. Like, they cause destruction in the most passive aggressive ways, and then they build onto it, and then they feed into their own illusions, and then depending on how they were raised and stuff, like, these are the people who can be destructive to everybody else and then still play the victim, just because they don't have an understanding or a grip of what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Pisces Mars. But I feel like a lot of the times you guys are also really, like, you're always into some kind, like, you guys are always into some kind of creative outlet. All the Pisces Mars people that I know are either in theater, they're musicians, they're actors, they draw, they're graffiti artists, they're graphic designers. I meet a chef though. I'm yet to meet a chef. Or they create something. They're usually really creative, super creative people. And I feel like a lot of the times it's because they pray about it. They pray for their creativity. They pray and they thank God. Like, you guys, I love this about you guys. You guys just have this thing of, like, always including God into a lot of the things that you do. And, like, as a Mars and Virgo, like, oh my God, it's so comforting to be around you guys, because I think you guys are the people that remind other people that, like, guys, as long as you include God into whatever it is you're doing, you can really relax, But even speaking of that, you guys are way too relaxed sometimes, where you neglect your daily routines, daily responsibilities, and like the Virgos are passionate. Like, a Virgo won't even feel comfortable enough to enjoy themselves, to go out, if they feel like they've neglected washing dishes, example, or they were supposed to, like, wash their socks, or they were supposed to do a video, or, like, there's always, and even if they are the Virgos like me who have Libra placements or even Pisces placements, they'll feel like, and let's say we do go out and we're like, okay, now I'll do this later, like, if we do procrastinate, we're like, okay, I'll do that later, we're still gonna kind of feel, damn, like, I need to do this. Like, we'll be on our own asses, low-key, like, there'll be a little voice that whispers, like, dude, you remember, you have to do that, and we won't forget about it, but we'll always kind of, like, nag ourselves to do it. But Mars and Pisces people don't do that to themselves. Like, you guys are very unmotivated to do 6 Virgo house type shit, like cleaning, a job, daily routines, like daily responsibilities, you guys are. And the only times that you do that is if you have people coming over. Like, excuse me, Mars and Pisces are the people that they won't clean their home for days on end until their friends come over. And that even depends on the friends that they have, because if they have friends for, like, that they've had 10 plus years and they already know that they're messy, they just won't clean it. Or they might, depending, maybe like if their mom comes over, they'll clean. But it'll be a situation of, if it's really needed, that you guys will do something. If it's, like, completely, like, you have to do it, that you'll do it. Otherwise, they just don't feel the need to do that. Because Mars and Pisces people are passionate about their daydreams. They're passionate about their illusions, So, and even because Mars is the thing that makes us do things, you guys kind of, like, you're not like Aries where you'll act on your actions. Like, if you want food, you're gonna stand up right now and go do it. Like, a Mars and Pisces, like, they're so passionate about, like, I guess, daydreaming. You know what, I'll even say sometimes, like, those Mars and Pisces people, they do act on their dreams, but because Pisces is, like, super passive, right? It's like a thing of, you guys, let's say you like somebody, right? You guys will passionately daydream about them, right? Because I know my Pisces moon friend with the Pisces Mars, like, she told me that she sometimes accidentally manifests things because she just always daydreams about them, and she like she visualizes everything. So I feel like you guys are the same. You guys visualize everything that you want. It's like a visual. You just visualize it aggressively, vigorously. And then with your like, you could even visualize like washing dishes sometimes, and depending on maybe who you are, you might even get somebody else to do that for you. And you be visualizing like clean dishes and visualizing your sink being clean, and then like maybe your mom comes and she does that for you. You visualize wanting a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you visualize their hair color, their hair texture, their eyebrows, their face, what they're gonna look like. And then 4 months later, literally everything you visualize about that person that you wanted to date, they come and they manifest themselves in an actual person. Like that kind of shit. But in terms of you, I feel like you actively doing something, like you like a Mars and Aries, they'll go for it, they'll just do it. I feel like you guys don't necessarily do that, unless it has to do with like creativity. Like you guys are maybe more quick to draw something. You'll be more quick to, like, if you have an idea of, I want to draw like the sky and the clouds to be like this, then you'll do that, but it's usually a really slow process, kind of like Mars in Taurus, Mars in Cancer. It's like a really slow process, like an internal navigation. Like, okay, I'd even say it even goes with like the flows of the moon, because I know you guys are also affected by the moon and the emotions and all of that. Well, tides of the water, and you guys are affected by that shit. So I feel like it's a thing of like, you have like an internal navigation of when to do something, and like maybe not like a Mars and Aries that can inspire themselves, because I feel like you guys already you stay in the illusion that you want to live in. Like, for example, if you watched Euphoria and that's affecting you, you kind of stay in that mood, and then you create an illusion around it. You create your own little world around that emotion, and then from that emotion, that's how you kind of navigate your life. You navigate it like that, and then in that sense, you can create really beautiful things, because you know how to capture a feeling, stay in it, create more memories, aka illusions and emotions in that. And then like, essentially, you guys know how to make other people feel that, either through making a film about it, or painting it, or poetry. You know what I'm saying? But you guys are super, super creative. Also, once again, I just said you guys are really, really lazy. I've noticed that too. You guys can get really, really lazy. But it really depends, because the friend that I have, the Cancer Sun Pisces Moon girl, she doesn't seem lazy. Then again, I did meet her like a month and a half ago. I don't know if she's lazy, but I feel like she does have style, but she's a Libra rising. So if you're a Libra rising too with a Mars and Pisces, I know your style is super, super cool. But also, like, you guys, actually all Pisces placements, I'm seeing this. You guys are very like, cartoon characters. Like, you guys give me fictional character vibes, But also, I feel like, depending on like other placements, your Mars and like, there's different kinds of Mars and Pisces people, and because Pisces ruled by the 12th house is so hidden, like it's a hidden energy, just like Scorpio, I feel like you guys know how to hide your true feelings. But I feel like your true, like, once again, I think it just, depending on who you are in that moment of time, that's who you are. Like, that's the true you. So I feel like there's no way to say like, this is really who you are, this is who you really are, because you guys just really go with whatever is around you at the moment. So it's not even to say like you're secretive. Maybe you're secretive about like how you feel about specific things or specific people, or maybe like secretive about things that have happened to you in the past, secretive about things that have that have affected you emotionally in the past, But I also find Pisces placements overshare. They overshare. So I can't even say you guys are secretive unless you have Scorpio placements. Then sharp game. you have this in the 8th house, then shop. But I don't get secretive from you guys, right, in terms of hiding your true self, because I feel like your true self really depends on who you are and where you are at the moment, because then you'll adapt to that, and then you will unconsciously embody that. You'll emotionally embody whatever it is that you're going through at that time. You know what I'm saying? And then with Mars being here, it's like you'll be passionate about creating a dream and an illusion, depending on the environment and the people that are influencing it or are affecting it. You know what I'm saying? Depends though. It could also be a thing of you've always had a dream, or maybe you got heartbroken and now like that's your whole aesthetic now. That's your whole vibe. And then you create, like, you could move like to a different location, and then you create a whole a dream and an imagination to act upon from that environment with the emotions that you gained from your heartbreak, and just add on to that illusion. It could be that thing. I don't know, but you guys are definitely super passionate about your dreams, and I feel like, once again, you guys, it really just depends. You guys are very similar to Geminis, where you just adapt to people and how they operate, and then you just kind of add yourself into that. But I was gonna say, the way that you guys attack things is very subtle, like very subtly. You guys are very quiet about how you attack. Maybe not, like, you guys are kind of like Libras, where you're not quick to fight back, depending on aspects. You may not be quick to fight back. And this also, if you have like a Pluto, if you have this conjuncting Pluto, like the Pluto in Scorpio generation, then maybe you guys are a lot more reactive, maybe a lot more snappy, and actually people born in my generation, because you'll have this squaring Pluto in Sagittarius, so maybe you guys could be quick to act, maybe, especially like if it's in the 8th house, then definitely you'll be quick to act. But I find a lot of Mars and Pisces, actually, yeah, man, I want to say that it depends on the house that it's in, and the degree, how far the degree is for like your Mars. And because if it's a tight conjunction, then you definitely will be the Mars and Pisces who gets angry unexpectedly and really crazily, like very aggressively angry, like to the point where you kind of lose yourself, like you lose yourself in your emotions, and then you kind of let that anger pass. But I feel like because Mars, if you have a Mars in Pisces, and now because it's going to be conjuncting Neptune, I feel like all of you guys are a lot more chill, and it's a lot more, it takes so much, like it takes a lifetime for you to actually express that emotion, that emotion of anger, because I feel like you guys will be very passive, like you'll internalize your emotions, because it is a water sign, you'll internalize how you're feeling, you'll soak in it, you'll just feel it by yourself, you'll isolate yourself, and you'll kind of distance yourself from everybody, you'll feel it alone, but I think it's a thing of like, if it's a thing of repetition, if somebody does it on a daily basis, then you might react and then lose your shit completely, but I haven't seen a Mars and Pisces person actually lose their shit. I think you guys also shy away from drama. Of course, if you have Aries moon or Aries placements, then definitely not, but I feel like you guys shy away from drama because you're so compassionate, and you're very understanding of people, and you understand why people can be assholes and selfish and greedy and horrible. So then you kind of just internalize those emotions. Sometimes you can blame yourself. I know, like Mars Pisces, just like Virgos, you guys can like internalize so much and then blame yourself, and then you become masochistic, and then you hurt yourself, because I know Pisces placements can be super super masochistic, and then also like a kink of yours is also to be punished, but not like horribly, not excruciating, like degrading type shit, but speaking of sex language, I feel like your sex language is people who like, I feel like Mars and Pisces have this thing of worshiping whoever that they're with. I think Mars and Virgo, we tend to criticize the people that we're with, maybe even criticize our own performance in sex, or criticize ourselves when we get angry, criticize ourselves in terms of how we reacted. But Mars and Pisces, they can do the same, maybe not criticize, but they'll just like, not punish, but they'll kind of like, I don't know, maybe hate them, like maybe not, kind of hate themselves, they'll feel sorry for themselves. Yeah, Mars and Pisces, they'll feel really sorry for themselves, but in terms of like having sex, like they kind of worship the people that they're with. And I think that is so cute. Like they really like worship you, and they like it's like they're enamored by the people that they're having sex with. You know what I'm saying? They admire whoever it is that they're merging emotionally with. It's like such a spiritual experience for them. So that's what turns them on, that emotional bond, that emotional connection, that turns them on, where it's like, also you guys have kind of also it's a thing of like with Mars and Pisces. I feel like you guys have this thing where you enjoy sex a lot more once the emotional connection is there, but once you've kind of created an illusion or a dream like of your partner, like you kind of given your partner a role to play in your illusion, you know what I'm saying? Then it's kind of like your passion starts to stir up, and then you're passionate about dreaming about them some more and creating this world where you live internally and with them, and then you admire them in that way, even though they may not be exactly what you have just perceived them to be emotionally. But like for you, like that dream, that connection becomes so real, but I think a lot of the times what makes you guys angry is people who can be really inconsiderate. But even in then, you'll still justify them, you'll still be kind and understanding to them, and you'll still be really nice to them and still feel compassion towards them. I think it's just a thing of like repetition. But sometimes it could be like someone touched your favorite pillow, and then that kind of irks you, and then that ruins your day that ruins your week. It could be it's an unconscious thing. Sometimes it could even be like you dreamt a dream, and in your dream something happened, and then that makes you angry. But it's definitely nothing. I feel like it won't be anything practical. Like it won't be like, oh, somebody bumped your car, now you're pissed off. It could be if you have earth placements, for sure. But I think even in that situation you'll be really compassionate, because you'll be like, oh, humans do this. You may be a little pissed off, you'll internalize, but you'll be like, oh, it's fine, let's just sort this out and move on. Yeah, that's Mars and Pisces. You guys are really cool. Once again, slow to anger. You guys are super lazy as well, but you guys like to aggressively dream about things, and also act on your imaginations. I want to say that. Once I was gonna say, like, you guys could be the type of person where you only act on your imagination. Sometimes a lot of who you are is triggered once you are drunk or high, and I know a lot of you guys prefer not to, like, especially Mars and Pisces. They're a lot less likely to be addicts, because you guys will shy away from drugs, shy away from substances, because you know yourselves. Like I know more Mars and Moon Pisces, Sun Pisces, Rising Pisces, even Venus and Pisces, who are a lot more addicted to shit, will be quick to jump into addict mode. But that even depends on who you are, and that depends on who you're dating. Example is Krishan Rock. She's a Pisces Sun, Mercury and Venus, and Blueface. Who's to know what she was doing? Like, if she was drinking as much before? I doubt it. But she's in that environment. So now, not to say anybody can be affected by the environment. Maybe Scorpio, all the fixed sign may be a lot less likely to be influenced by peer pressure and whatever, and environmental pressure, whatever pressure, but she's mutable. Pisces is mutable. But I feel like with Mars and Pisces, they're less likely to be addicted to stuff, but when they are, they become aggressively dependent on, like, they become so they isolate themselves just so that they can do that in peace, because they could be overwhelmed by all the emotions that they're picking up in their daily lives. And then when they get drunk, that's when they kind of feel like, oh my god, yeah, now I can finally express myself. I can finally express my passions and express myself in whatever way I want to, as opposed to all the times where I couldn't, because I felt so enclosed by my own internal world, you know what I'm saying? But then again, it does depend on the person. But for the most part, the Pisces Mars that I've met, they drink here and there, they smoke here and there, but they don't do it excessively. I think they watch themselves, because they know themselves. But they usually are super spiritual, very religious also. Either way, but they usually have a system around connecting to God, and these are your friends that they will pray for you no matter what. Like they will pray. These are your prayer warriors for sure. Love that for you guys. So anyway, yeah, I'm surprised that I've made it this far. Oh, okay. Anyway, guys, I have to continue. I want to continue this in the new location, which is perfect because Mars and Pisces, the transition. So yeah. Anyway, with that being said, moving on to Mars and Pisces, but in the new location. Bye. Hi, welcome to the new location. Okay, so I think I'll have like a proper introduction to this new location later, like when I'm done with this and I start doing other videos and being more of a part of a YouTube participant. But for now, guys, this is it. Very different, right? Anyway, so yeah, let's continue off where we were at. So Mars in Pisces through the houses. Cool. Okay, so Mars in Pisces through the first. Also, before I say that, actually, I want to say that Mars in Pisces, I did say that they were super passionate about their spirituality, but more so like they could also be passionate about escaping, escaping daily routines, escaping their daily realities, and if you think about all the ways that you can escape not even through drugs are one way, but you can escape through a person, which is why a lot of Mars and Pisces people you'll find them being the type of people who don't like being alone. They like being in relationships, they are definitely more prone to being like an anxious attached person. But yeah, essentially it's just like a thing of they are passionate about escaping, so escaping has its many forms. It could be through art, through a person, through sleeping. And speaking of energy, right, Mars and Pisces people are the type of people to gain energy from sleeping, so you guys are definitely, you're prayer warriors, but you're also nap warriors, and napping will definitely benefit you throughout the day so that you can also regulate your emotions. I recommend napping just before you do anything, like even like a 10-minute nap, because that really does give you a lot of energy, especially for you guys, for everybody, but for you guys especially, excuse me. But yeah, in terms of escaping, you guys can escape through books, movies, a lot of Mars and Pisces also, you don't have to be a drinker or a smoker, but there is a form of escapism that is very much attached in your lifestyle through movies, your friends, napping, maybe you or even the people, you were the students in class that were absent more often, or if you weren't absent, you were bunking, and if you weren't bunking, you were just like on your phone during classes, or if you weren't on your phone during classes, you were reading a book during classes when you should have been present in in the lecture or the class or whatever. But there's always some kind of like you not trying to be, or you finding it difficult or boring to be participating in what's happening right now, except for when it's like like when you kind of feel that people are sharing emotionally, there's like a sense of vulnerability in the room, then that's when you guys are more likely to be present in the moment. But a lot of the times, you guys, it's just like other Pisces placements, y'all just elsewhere. You guys are elsewhere. But yeah, okay, now we can officially move on, right? Mars and Pisces through the houses. Mars and Pisces through the first house. So first house represents your personality, your how you view yourself, the personal relationship that you have with yourself. How you view yourself, how you treat yourself, how you see yourself, and how you are, like the conscious awareness that you have about yourself, your personality, how you personally portray yourself out into the world, your appearance, you know, how you choose to dress to make up, how you choose to dress your human body, and even how your human body is already dressed. You know, what's do you have scars, do you have freckles, you know, how your hair looks. I'm an Aquarius rising, but I have a in my progress chart, I'm a progressed Pisces rising, right? So like I'm seeing it now, but I feel like Pisces and Aquarius risings are really similar in the sense of both have really unusual looking features. They both seem otherworldly. They both they look unreal. They have this like fictional caricature appearance about them, you know. But Pisces are more so like, yeah, big eyes, you know, big doe eyes, big beautiful doe eyes, glossy. They look like they're about to cry, or they just cried, or they look really stoned a lot of the times. I'm finding that. But I have Neptune in my first house, so it's kind of similar, you know, like you either look really stoned, but you kind of like have a very mystical gaze about you, you know. But that's all first house, about your appearance, you know. So having a Pisces rising conjuncting Mars, this will kind of, and I actually know, I had the pleasure of knowing somebody who has this placement, and she told me that she doesn't necessarily feel like she's out of touch with her body, because I feel like because Mars is home in the first house, so I feel like it kind of gives you a more of a sense of self. Like you have more of a sense of self. So I kind of feel like in the sense it'll kind of give you more of like a Scorpio rising ish vibe, where you're not necessarily like, because I feel like Pisces rising or even Neptune risings have this thing of having a difficulty grounding themselves in themselves. Like they don't really necessarily know who they are, because it depends on where they were at and who they are in the moment, or their location, their environment affects a lot of who they feel they are in that moment, you know. And especially like leaving that environment, like the same with watching a movie. Like Pisces placements, Neptune placements, they're always the type of people who will feel like they are affected way more after watching a movie, or they are affected way more after an experience, because they really like soak themselves in that, and then they leave that space feeling like they are that environment, they are that experience, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like with Mars being here, I feel like you have more of a grounded sense of self, you know what I'm saying? Like you still will have the typical features of like Pisces and the mysticalness of Pisces, but I feel like you will be a lot more passionate, you know. You won't be so passive. Mars and Pisces in the first house, you are a lot more like active. You're a lot less likely to be lazy, you know. Yeah, these are the people that are I guess more loose. Maybe not loose, but like you guys are a lot more like, yeah, a lot more like Mars and Scorpio, or even Mars in Cancer. No, Mars and Scorpio vibes. But the girl that I'm talking to, she did say like she's feeling a lot more like she. But then again, she is a Scorpio sun with Scorpio Mercury, so. But I would just say having Mars in the first house, you are passionate about your own personal interests, you know. But I feel like for Mars and Pisces, these interests, once again, they depend on where you were at in the moment. And obviously because Pisces is here, and especially right now because Neptune is in Pisces, so Neptune is also conjuncting your first house, so then Mars would be here too. So I feel like you would be passionate about the ideas and the illusions that you have about yourself, and adding that onto like whatever. For example, like let's say you are on Pinterest and then you see a mood board that somebody created about a fashion sense, and you know they even added pictures of Italy. Like you will be passionate about daydreaming about that, you know. You'll even start you'll dress like that, and then you will start living your everyday life as though you live in Italy, as though you are like your reality is set there, and that's your passion. Every day you wake up, you know, fantasizing and visualizing your life being in that area of life, you know, until it actually manifests itself, and then somehow you live there, you know what I'm saying? But maybe it may not even be a thing of work, you know, just like for you, like you just see yourself personally being in that space, you know, and then that's how you live your life. But generally Mars in the first house makes you super passionate about yourself, makes you really conceited too, you know. But I think Pisces, because Pisces naturally has like an air of like, it's not cocky, it's not conceited, you know. So having Mars in the first house here with Pisces, I think maybe you could have an illusion of yourself like that, but it may, and maybe you would, maybe you could visualize yourself being like that, you know. Or maybe because, you know, Pisces is like a feminine sign, so maybe you could have people perceive you to be like that, you know, but you may not necessarily be conscious that you're doing that, you know. Like, you may not necessarily be aware that, okay, you are giving off conceited vibes, you know, because maybe you're just in your own world thinking that you're in Italy living this specific life. But because Mars is here, you appear that way, you know. You appear that you are very confident and stuff. And you know what, maybe you are, maybe it could just be an unconscious thing, but I feel like you are, like, maybe you feel that, you just don't express it, maybe like a Aries rising would, you know, or Sag rising or Leo rising would do that, you know, like, because that's just your personality. You may not necessarily be I don't want to say you're not aware of it, because I mean, your first house is your house of personal awareness, but then again, because Pisces is here, it kind of can make it makes it foggy and like unstable, you know. But on one end, you being passionate about your personal interests, you being passionate about your creativity, you're passionate about your appearance. So I definitely feel like you guys are the type of people to be like into fashion, and then you're, you know, passionate about dressing yourself up, you know, passionate about the style that you have, passionate about how you see yourself in terms of like where you see yourself in, where you see yourself living, kind of thing, you know. And other interests, even other personal goals that you have for yourself, you know, and whatever that may be. You could personally want to see yourself in a relationship, and then you be passionate about daydreaming about that, passionate about seeing yourself in that state of being, and then passionate about already putting yourself in those emotions, like, you know, like you'll visualize and I guess fantasize about, oh, how would this feel if I was with this person living in this location. Like, that's what you feel passionate about, you know what I'm saying? And then that's how Mars in the first house will present itself in that sense, you know. So yeah, that's the vibe. And then Mars and Pisces in the second house. So second house represents, you know, your assets, your personal possessions, what you own personally, real estate, you know, your self-esteem, what you have that supports your self-esteem, but generally just your possessions, you know, even your family members, really, houses, what you own, or things that you feel like you have ownership over, you know, and things that you expect, basically things that you already have, you know. So having Mars and Pisces in the second house, Mars is in its detriment in the second house. So this is definitely the super lazy Mars and Pisces person, especially now because wait, Mars and Pisces, yeah, Aquarius risings, my people. Shout out to all the Aquarius risings. So we already have Neptune transiting. It's been transiting our second house. So having Mars here makes you even more lazy, way more fatigued, right? So, and I made this example. Actually, no, I think I made this example in Mars and Sagittarius in the second house, right? But why Mars sucks being in the second house is because it feels like it has to have the support of things, of possessions, of materials to support its passions. And then it feels like it can't just be passionate about something just for the sake of having the passion for it and going for it, you know. So an example, especially a good example, because, you know, Pisces is spiritual. A lot of the times, maybe with this placement, Mars and Pisces will feel like they have to first buy incense and candles and books and, you know, chakra posts or whatever, and, you know, all of like learning about chakras, and they feel like they have to have these things in order to to build upon their spirituality, rather than just already, you know, start praying and start, I guess, doing the work. You know, you'll feel like you have to have the things before you do the work, so that the things can support the journey itself, you know, which is why Mars doesn't really like here. But with this placement, it's definitely giving that, you know, it's giving like you need your, you can even be a stoner with this, like you feel like, oh my god, I need to smoke before I do anything at all. It's giving that, like, oh my god, you know, or I need to, before I go out to school, I want to like watch Adventure Time so that I can feel supported enough to live my life, or I can feel like I'm supporting my internal imagination, my internal dream, or like, oh, I have to light my incense before I meditate, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, like whatever little niche you have, But I also feel like sometimes, this placement will definitely make you a little bit more lazy. Just because also the process of having to attain something before you do something, that's so much work. Like, that's so much work. Even I don't know why my speech has been so. Actually, I do, because Mercury is in Pisces right now, and it's in my second house, and it's also conjuncting Neptune. So my speech is like, and I'm a Mercury bird, so. But excuse my speech, guys, please. I can't help it right now. I'm being affected. Also, it's in conjuncting my Mercury in Libra, so I have to wait until. Mercury is in Aries, it's gonna oppose. Anyway, not about me right now, I'm so sorry. So the point is having Mars in Pisces in the second house can be a drag, but I feel like for the most part you will have even getting into your artistic creative things, you will feel like, obviously, okay, if you want to be an artist, you have to have pencils so you can draw things, but I feel like you would be the type of person to be like, I can't even begin to draw. I have to have this specific pencil. I have to have these specific pencils before I do my artwork, Or I don't know. There's always some kind of process that you have to put yourself in terms of attaining things before you do something that you're passionate about, And then only after you attain those things, then you'll feel supported enough to continue doing the thing that you're passionate about, you know what I'm saying? But also it could just be because it's in the second house, so it's still Pisces, you also still may feel like, okay, before I draw, now that I have my pencils, I still have to take a nap before I do the thing that I'm passionate about, So it's like a longer process for you to actually just start getting the ball rolling. It's like a whole thing. And even for you, it may take a whole week. You may procrastinate so much. It takes so much for you to really get in the zone, because it's such a slow process for you. Third house, right? So third house represents your what's this? Damn, I haven't done astrology in so long, guys. Damn, anyway. But third house represents your environment, your siblings, your friends, how you interact with the people that are in your environment, your neighborhood, the neighborhood that you're in right now currently. Your skills that you've developed from a child, from way back in the day, or skills that you're even developing now. Third house also represents school, if you're in school right now, high school, whatever school you're in, if you're learning something. And then the opposite to the third house would be the ninth house, which will be traveling long distances for university and stuff like that. But yeah, third house represents environments basically, and your skills, the skills that you have and the skills that you can use for your everyday life and in your everyday life. Because if you think about brushing your teeth, that's a skill. It's a very basic skill, but it's something that we learned from when we were young. Washing dishes is a skill, cleaning is a skill, using a phone is a skill, but also communication. Third house rules communication. The communication that you learned, that you are learning, that's influenced by your environment, So lingos, shit like that, third house. Yeah. So Mars and Pisces in the third house for Capricorn risings, right? I think Mars in the third house, as I always say, will always bring some kind of aggression in your neighborhood or in your siblings or in your friends. So I want to say here, because Mars is a malefic planet, it could make you, your friends are aggressive, but maybe your friends are the people who influenced you to get into some kind of creative outlet, but then they may be the type of people, and it could be either you are doing this or it's being done to you, right? So you may be in a situation where you are the friend that's influencing your friends to either get into drugs, and you're super you're a passive aggressive bully about it, or you're super manipulative. That's the thing. You could be the one manipulating your friends to get into some dodgy sketchy shit, as a way to escape reality. So you could be the one influencing your friends to do meth and shit, or it could be done to you. You somehow are influenced or manipulated by your friends to get into drugs or some fucked up shit. And I would have said something nice, but I feel like Mars is a malefic planet, so it's not really like Venus, where if you have Venus in the third house, then you have friends that introduce you to art, and friends that you do poetry with and shit like that. It's like cute shit like that, like you guys go out to museums and shit. No, I feel like Mars in the third house, especially in Pisces, bro, I feel like you could have some really sketchy manipulative friends, but it's a thing of like, you may not necessarily know that they are manipulating you until maybe you move out of that neighborhood and the damage is done already, and then you move into a neighborhood with new friends that kind of like, they're like, bro, like, what the fuck happened to you? Why are you like this? And then only then it kind of brings you to a point of reflection, because once again, because you're so influenced by your environment. And also Pisces, just like Gemini, you guys have this incredible thing of like, nothing is wrong or right. I'm a Gemini moon, I can tell you this, like, we can make anything justifiable. Like, oh, okay, it's like a thing of gullible, like you're gullible, like a gullible nature, because we're so ambiguous about anything. Like, everything can be anything. You can justify anything. You can create anything to be anything and give it a reason. Like, if like you could come to a Gemini or a Pisces person placement and be like, yo, I actually killed somebody, and then that person could be like, I killed them because of this and this and this, and they'll be like, okay, you restated, whatever, it is what it is. They won't even judge. Like, that's the type of thing, up until like they're around another group of people, and then like, let's say I'm the Mars and Pisces person, and I'm telling them, oh yeah, I had a friend who killed a person, but no, they did it for these reasons. And then if that group of friends is like, dude, no, killing is wrong, then I will be like, oh my god, yeah, you're right, killing is wrong. Because what mutable signs just adapt to whatever it is that they are currently like in, like they adapt to their environment. Even a Gemini, like, they will, like, I swear to god, bro, like, yo, I don't even know if it's being gullible. It's just a thing of like adapting. You can adapt to any opinion and adapt to any mindset, as long as it's justifiable. And even if it's not, like, if somebody just feels like this is right, you'll be like, oh, okay, cool, that's it. So that even goes for you and other people's opinions. Having a Mars and Pisces in the third house, it's like low-key easy for people to maybe impose their opinions on you, or impose their ideals on you, their visions, you know what I'm saying. But in terms of skills, I feel like you guys developed the skill of drawing when you guys were mad young. You guys are probably really great artists, pianists, anything with your hands, making art with your hands. Maybe you knit, crochet, I don't know, what else do Pisces do? I feel like Pisces draw a lot, but I know a lot of Pisces that draw. Pisces love drawing or singing, I feel like second house, third house, singing, voices, but yeah, guys, you guys are like that. Or maybe not even like you had friends like that. Maybe you just grew up in an environment where people were swearing a lot, so you swear a lot too. It really just, like, you guys are so like easy to influence in that sense. So maybe your friends aren't manipulative. Maybe they're just like really aggressive and they swear a lot. So then you adapt to that. Like, you start swearing a lot, and if your friends start drinking and shit, then you start doing that. But maybe it could be a thing of you gravitate to friends that are like that, aggressive friends, friends who are bosses, bullies, like super aggressive. May not even be like your friends are sketchy. Maybe your friends are just really aggressive, or maybe your friends are just really mean, but you're always in that space, so then you adapt to be like that, and then you essentially become really bully-ish and bossy and all those bashful. So even though that be such a brutal word, so harsh, but then again, once again, I think because Mars is in your third house, you are always somehow connected to friends or siblings. Maybe your siblings are like this. I actually want to say it like this. This is so much more comfortable. Yeah, like maybe your siblings are like that. Like your siblings are like like aggressive, or you grew up with aggressive siblings, so now you are influenced by that. But there's always some kind of environmental influence that makes you more aggressive in your speech or in the way that you interact with the people in your environment. Yeah. Mars and Pisces in the fourth house for what? Fourth house? Sagittarius risings, right? So fourth house represents domestic issues, family members, how you were raised, the emotions that you were raised in, the emotional undercurrents that you were raised by your parents. What are the emotional themes that you were raised by in your home? Fourth house represents how you deal with your emotions, like how your family members dealt with emotions, and therefore how you deal with emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have Taurus in my fourth house, so everybody, and Taurus is an earth sign, but I also have Saturn in my fourth house, so everybody was like super emotionally detached. So that's the emotional system that I was growing up in, so having fourth house, that's really just it, how you were raised. What were the emotional patterns at home? That's fourth house shit, but also your ancestors, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that legacy of how everybody develops their emotion comes from how they learn from their parents and their parents and their parents, and then we just go up generationally, and then we start to discuss ancestors. So fourth house also represents your ancestors. What else? Fourth house, what else? Domestic comfort, how you found comfort, what makes you feel comfortable. Because essentially, if you grow up in a home like that, like, you eventually get comfortable with that energy, So that's fourth house shit. So having Mars and Pisces in the fourth house. Already, Mars also doesn't like the fourth house, because, second house makes it depend on having things to support its passions. But having it in the fourth house, Mars in the fourth house, Mars feels like it has to first find validation at home, but it also feels like it can't be an individual because it's too busy having to please their parents or please their family members. So then there's friction at home, but having Mars, having that aggressive energy in the home, especially with Pisces, I feel like definitely with you guys, you grew up, and because it's Pisces, you grew up in an addict, like in a crack house, a trap house. You may have grown like it's giving trap house vibes, crack house, crackhead vibes, like very hectic circumstances with parents, or maybe you were adopted, and then the foster family that adopted you, they treated you like shit, and they you probably seen a whole bunch of drugs growing up, that fucked with your brain. Or maybe have you watched Shameless? That one, like, episodes where who had a child? Damn, who was that child? It was like the early seasons where Lip had a girlfriend, a blonde girlfriend, and she eventually got pregnant from dating like this other Asian guy, right? And then she didn't want the kid, so the mom ended up raising the kid, and then she like left for a while because she gave her mom the ultimatum, because I think she wanted to kill the baby, or I don't know, go give the baby to somebody, I forgot, but then because that lady was dating Frank, because Frank was using that lady for a house and food, and that baby wouldn't stop crying, so then Frank just gave the baby like a little bit of drugs, like literally like what's this, a pinky finger amount of drugs. Like, he would just dip his little pinky finger into like his bag of whatever, like meth or whatever, and then put it on the baby's tongue, and the baby would be knocked the fuck out. Like, I'm pretty sure that baby probably would have like a Pisces fourth house type shit, but more brutal. Like, the environment, the home environment that you would have grown up in would have been like crazy. Like, people were not only manipulating each other, like it could have just been like a whole bunch of fucked up shit, dealing with drugs, like maybe your mom sold drugs in your home, or maybe your mom was the addict, and when she was high as fuck, she would hurt you guys, she would bully you guys, she would slap you guys. Or on the other hand, it could have just been like you grew up with a super extremely religious mother who got super delusional about the religion. Or maybe you grew up in a cult and your parents or your family members or whoever was raising you was like super like obsessed with this cult, and they had fed you lies, or not lies, but delusions about what the world is like, and now when you enter the world, you don't know how to act because your parents or your caregiver had concealed you and stuffed you down aggressively with so many ideals and I guess stories about how life is and how they feel like life should be. Like you grew up in a household where you were fed delusions, or let's say conspiracies about how the world is, and then your parents or your caregiver may have been like strict about that, like they were strict about you being in your religion or being in a cult, or maybe you were raised in a trap house, so they were like, I don't know, just some kind of fucked up circumstance situation, you know what I'm saying? And especially people, if you're born in like now where Neptune was also in Pisces and you have this conjuncting Mars in Pisces all in the 4th house, bro, I know, like, like how you grew up, it also may have felt like your parents may have felt like they lost their identity in whatever religion or cult or practice drugs that they were in. Maybe it may not even have been that. Maybe your parents is like a rock star, and you didn't really get to be with them because like they were going out on tour and they were doing a whole bunch of drugs, so they didn't really have time to spend with you, so you were isolated a lot at home, and then that isolation may have led you to do drugs at a younger age, or have led you to be aggressively into religion, but somehow there's always some kind of like some kind, like you may not even know so much about your family members just because they were so engulfed and they had lost their identity in whatever spiritual practice they were in, so much so that was like their whole thing, and then it just drove them insane, like like Carrie, the movie Carrie, where that girl became a witch, and at the end of the movie, like, she was just killing everybody, like, her mom, yeah, like that kind of strict religious mom, that kind of shit, but yeah, that's Mars in Pisces in the 4th house, but also now I also feel like when you start to get into relationships, or when you feel emotionally close to people, they may kind of feel the sense that you're still in that vibe, like you still have a connection to whatever like religion that your parents forced you in, or you still have that connection to how your parents taught you the world was. Like, when we were young and we learned about the Illuminati and stuff, when you get close to people, you kind of still have, like, if your parents induce fear in you when you were young with this placement, when you get emotionally close to people, you may kind of like give them the sense that you still have those fears, you still have that illusion imagination that you held on to. You may still, like, if your parents made you afraid of the dark, when you get emotionally close to other people that you grew up with, they'll kind of get that sense from you, like, oh, whoa, this person may still kind of believe in it, you know what I'm saying? And you may very well kind of still believe in it, that's the vibe. On now to Mars and Pisces in the 5th house for all Scorpio risings. So 5th house represents, your enjoyment, how you have fun and how you enjoy yourself, entertainment, how you entertain other people, and what you are entertained by, right? So off the back, I already know people with Scorpio risings having Pisces in the 5th house, you guys love to escape. This is the thing. I think the Scorpio archetype, because it naturally will have Pisces in the 5th house. That's why, like, and mind you, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, right? And a lot of the times Scorpios get accused of being addicts is because whenever they get into anything that they enjoy, they do it excessively. So same shit with this situation. Having a Scorpio rising and you have Mars in the 5th house. First of all, having Mars in the 5th house is a good placement. I feel like it's a good placement because it just makes you passionate about your creativity, right? So off the back, I already know you're probably a drama kid. You probably definitely into theater with this, no doubt. You probably into with theater, acting, singing, live performance, whatever it is. But I know it's acting for sure. But on that same token, I know that you guys have an issue with substances, especially if you are an artist, and especially if you are like me and you grow up and you experimental with alcohol, and you maybe have like your parents may have like a cabinet of wine, and you're like, ooh, curious, like, I want to have some wine, and then later on, you developed, and you grew up, and you snuck in alcohol, and you could buy alcohol, whatever, and all those experiences kind of accumulate, because the first few days or first few moments where you drink alcohol and you have a good experience, it's like, oh my god, like, I'm having so much fun, I want to do this again, and because Jupiter expands things and expands Pisces emotions, and because Pisces is naturally exalted in Venus, you guys like to escape in everything that makes you feel those Venus type emotions. You guys like to escape in that shit. So, and because Mars is here also, I know you guys need to chill off the liquor, bro. You guys need to chill off of like the substances, because you guys, especially alcohol, I'm finding that with Scorpios and Pisces, it's always an alcohol thing. If it maybe even psychedelics, because especially in my generation, in my generation, psychedelics are a big thing. If not psychedelics, cocaine. There are a few people who are doing meth now, but I think meth is like crazy, bro. Shout out to anyone who's recovering from meth addiction. Shout out to you guys. But in my generation, I'm born 2000, and I know like the most popular substances that we're using: alcohol, weed, psychedelics, and psychedelics, and then coke for like the rave people, ecstasy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. You guys need to fucking chill off that shit, like, especially if you have Mars and Pisces here, like, yeah, but especially with the alcohol, like, you guys need to chill off with that, because that is gonna affect you eventually. It's gonna have an effect on you guys, but yeah, I'm not your mother, I'm just saying it eventually will. What else did I want to say about this place? Yeah, but as far as like your creativity, you guys like have a lot of creativity. It's just like you guys enjoy escaping, and because fifth house also rules over, dating and relationships, you guys could be serial daters. What's this? Yeah, relationship hopping. You jump from one relationship to another because you guys don't like being alone. Let's just keep it a buck. You guys do not like being alone, and you guys are the type to take a fling very seriously. Like, you fall in love after the first, hookup, which is why hookup culture wouldn't work for you, because you guys like really catch feelings, especially if you have Taurus placements with this. So I feel like you already knowing yourself, you don't hook up, you don't do the hookup shit, you're not into hookup culture, because you just know yourself, that like you will catch feelings immediately, so you just choose to not do that. But it does make you a serial dater. It does make you somebody who dates a lot. It does make you somebody who does not like being alone. You're passionate about having romances, and then you just quick to catch feelings, and then when you catch the feelings, then you go into your little imagination world, and then you start fantasizing about them, and then they become your muse. So you have many muses. You've collected so many muses throughout your entire life, and luckily, the good part is that, like, if you are in theater, like, how to capture those moments and then portray them, because what heartbreak feels like, what being in love feels like, and you guys crave love a lot. Like, you guys love so much, like intensely. You guys love so much. Yeah. You guys love so much. But yeah, I feel like generally you guys are romantics. Like, this is definitely the romantic part. It's just the negative part is that you tend to lose yourself in people, and you tend to like overly romanticize your crushes, you know, like you meet a crush and you're already thinking of, oh my god, like this is what it's gonna feel like being in love with them. And it's like, babe, you just met them, like you just met them. You know, but that's you guys. But anyway, moving on to Mars and Pisces in the 6th house for all the Libra risings, right? So yeah, my friend has this. She has Mars and Pisces in the 6th house, and 6th house, by the way, represents your daily routines. You know, how you take care of your body, your health, your job, the job that you plan on having, but really just any work. Just say work. 6th house represents work, daily work that you have. You know, how you maintain things, how you maintain your household. You know, because washing dishes is technically work, because you have to maintain that. Otherwise, if you don't wash the dish, then your house is gonna be fucking dirty. You're gonna attract roaches, and then that's gonna affect your home, and then that could affect your health. You know what I'm saying? So everything is like 6th house is all about how you keep your life together, really. You know, your body, your health, your routines, because everything that you do, like your habits. 6th house represents habits. All the habits you do affect your body, and I'm noticing this now, because I've been smoking cigarettes like mad crazy now, and my health is being affected. My throat is being affected, and I have cancer in my 6th house. I also have water in my 6th house. So even just saying that, like water in the 6th house, like our emotions affect our daily life and our daily our mood for the day, and how we choose to handle, like how we choose to nurture our daily routine. So if we're in a bad mood, we're gonna wash dishes, like we're gonna cook in a bad mood, and then that's gonna affect that shit. You know, if I'm angry, like right now, how I'm gonna maintain. If I have cancer there, so if I'm in a bad mood, I may not even want to get up out of my bed, to be honest. But I think with Pisces, like it could be the same thing. Low key, I feel like it's the same thing. So having Pisces, once again, having a Libra rising, all the signs are in their opposite houses, right? So I think having in Mars in the 6th house. Okay, let me just say, observing my friend, she has passion to get up and do things, you know. I think maybe she's inspired by, because we're both in an art school, right? I'm in school right now, so we're both in art school, right? And pronouns are they are like they're doing live performance. So I think maybe they're like inspired by getting up and doing their creative thing, like because like they can sing, you know what I'm saying, like they're a really good singer. So I think they're inspired by like doing that. So I think with Pisces in the 6th house, especially with Mars here, it's the same thing with like having it in the 5th house, you know, because once again, Pisces will just always have like the creative thing to it. It may not always be about like, you may not always be like a creative person, because my brother has like a Libra rising. He doesn't have Pisces placements, except he's Uranus, and he's not necessarily creative, but he does like watch a lot of anime. And I think he's in, like, every day he wakes up and doesn't necessarily dedicate his life to watch anime, but he does watch a lot of anime. You know, and that's like his thing, like that's his thing. So I don't want to say like you guys are like only, like that's not your only motive to live life. Like I don't want to just reduce it to that. Like I think you guys have a lot to live for. But maybe let's just say like you guys are passionate about, you know, including whatever escape thing, like anime or singing or watching a movie. Like you're passionate about including that into your daily routine. You're passionate about like listening to your favorite podcast and escaping into that, you know, and including that in your daily routine. You guys are passionate about what was you passionate about? Even escaping, like hanging out with your friends, you know, hanging out with your friends and including your friends into your daily routines, or just even having a conversation and like emotionally connecting with the people that you fuck with. Like you could be passionate about that type of shit, excuse me, but including that into your daily routine, that's something fun. But I think, because I feel like, watching a movie, like, that's art. Everything that we consume, even on TikTok, like people making those videos, that is somewhat of a form of art. And I think because it's so accessible now, and it's so easy to like take out your phone, download TikTok, and watch films, or watch mini videos, comedy videos, excuse me. Ooh. It's so easy to like, even go on Netflix or Disney Plus and just watch something, but for the most part, like, I think you guys are just passionate about including some kind of escape into your daily routine, but I also find, like, with having Pisces in the 6th house generally, like, you guys take naps in the most weird, like, you guys, my brother, whenever we're in the car and I'm driving, or my mom's driving, or my dad's driving, like, he will fall asleep within seconds, like instantly. He will fall asleep. It's like so easy for you guys to fall asleep, and I think it would be the same for you guys, like Mars in the 6th house, but I think, once again, sleeping is a form of escaping, because you're not necessarily in here, you're not doing 6th house type shit, oh my god, this video is about to be so crazy long, but yeah, anyway, yeah, that's Mars in Pisces in the 6th house. What else do I want to say about this placement? Health, in terms of health wise, like food wise, I feel like you guys have a weird stomach. I want to say that you guys have a very weird stomach, and I think any like subtle things can upset your stomach. I've seen this in my brother. I think maybe this is just the Pisces in the 6th house thing, but I think including Mars here, like when you get sick, you get aggressively sick, like you get nauseous, like you get like stomach issues, because 6th house will rule your stomach and your bowel movement, so it's a thing of like, your diet changes really weird, like you have this thing where you kind of like Aries, where you don't really care about what you eat, it depends, obviously. It will depend on who you are and maybe your environment as well, but you guys wouldn't mind waking up and eating like sugar, like ice cream. You wouldn't mind waking up and like eating something that your Virgo friend would tell you not to eat, because as your Virgo friend, me, I will tell you to eat fruits in the morning, because that's healthy, but I feel like Mars and Pisces people, you guys aren't necessarily aware of like your health in that sense, so you will eat whatever like is available to you in that moment. But then, because you're like unconscious of like, okay, this is how to have a proper health routine, you fuck around, eat something, like you'll eat a big meal in the morning, and then like you'll have a really horrible tummy bug, you know what I'm saying? And then it could also be a thing, because Pisces is here, and also with this transit, Neptune will also be in your 6th house. A lot of the times you may be sick, but you may not know that you're sick until it like, until it's like super obvious, like the same as having a cyst. You don't necessarily know you have a cyst until it grows bigger, so same thing with you guys. You may not necessarily know that you're sick, or you have a tummy bug, or you're like, I don't know, something is hurting or something is infected until it's large, but as far as like your health wise, like you guys have a really weird like health system, and I'm seeing it in my brother. Like my brother will tell me like he can't eat, like let's say he's about to go for lunch with his friends, right, and he's gonna go at 2. He has to be there at 2 exactly. If it's 1 and I'm like, yo bro, do you want some chips, he'll be like, no, I don't want any chips, because if I eat now, then my stomach is gonna be full, or I don't know, my stomach may be too painful to eat later, some shit like that. It's so weird, like it's so weird. I feel like you guys are the same. You guys could have a really weird like diet, or like way of eating and consuming shit, but in terms of also cleaning, you guys are not very clean. You guys don't really give a fuck about cleaning. Maintaining your room, I feel like you guys just pay attention to what you have to. And in terms of like having organized, like me, like right now, if I had to show you my home, it's very organized and like put together. I feel like you guys don't really care about that. Probably have clothes on the floor, whole bunch of shit on the floor. But I'm pretty sure your room looks nice. Like there's really cool art and incense and shit, but it's just like messy, but you know where everything is. Just like my brother. Like my brother can be super super messy, but he knows where he put everything. Like he knows that, okay, his laptop is there, the charger's there. But I'm gonna walk into his room and be like, dude, like what the fuck, like why is everything so discombobulated? And then he'd be like, no bro, like I know where everything is at. And I feel like it's the same thing with you guys too, just super messy vibes, messy life, messy vibes, but you know what's going on in your mess. So yeah, Mars in Pisces in the 7th house for all the Virgo risings, right? So 7th house represents your relationships, your intimate relationships, one-on-one relationships, how you are in spaces of vulnerability and how you relate to people, how you relate how you relate on an interpersonal level. That's what I'm trying to say. So having Mars in Pisces in the 7th house, Mars also does not like the 7th house, because here it feels like it has to depend on people. So same thing here, Mars in Pisces in the 5th house and 7th house, these are codependent people. You guys do not like being alone. You don't like being single. You know what I'm saying? You don't like being alone in relationships. It would be the same thing if you had like Mars in Pisces in the Venus in Pisces in the 7th house. You don't really like being alone, and you like being in relationships, because you're anxiously attached and you feel more regulated when you're in a relationship. My Aquarius rising is judging. Yeah, speaks in avoidant attachment style person. Anyway, but I feel like having a Mars in Pisces in the 7th house, this also makes you somebody who like you feel more comfortable. Like you may not even have your own passion, like, and especially being a Virgo rising, you're more passionate about helping people. Like I always say this about Virgo risings, like you could be a great manager, or an assistant manager. You assist people, like you're a great assistant. But when it comes to organizing your own life, you have no fucking idea where to start. So same with this situation, like Mars in Pisces in the 7th house, having Mars in the 7th house is horrible. I have this in Virgo, because your relationships always, definitely you're the type of person to attract people who are in serious need of therapy. They need an exorcist. They need to be in an asylum. Or you could be like this. You attract people who need saving, who need Jesus, who need Buddha, Gaia. They need everything that they can get, like 100%. I feel you on that, especially because Pisces is here. You just attract nut jobs or addicts. You attract addicts. You attract people who are naturally addicted. They're easy, like they druggies, junkies. Yeah, you attract junkies in your life. Manipulative junkies, maybe even schizophrenic junkies. But they just need help, and you may feel like, oh my god, I need to save them, or maybe you are the one that feels like you need saving. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be the one that attracts like the Virgo fixer uppers, because I feel like Pisces also, like, they like fixer uppers that they can love, like they can heal them with their love type shit. Why do we do that? Like, why the fuck do we do that? But yeah, guys, that's what you guys attract for real. And in terms of what else? Mars and Pisces, I think your energy, like, you feel more energized when you are in a relationship, though. Like, if we're keeping it a buck for real, like, you are more energized when you are in a relationship, because then you feel like, okay, this is where my energy's, like, I can, like, it's like you feel more energized when you are of assistance to somebody else, when you're adding on to somebody else. But in this case, when you're assisting somebody else. So I think this would make a great nurse. You would make an incredible nurse with this, what else? Yeah, I was just saying nurse. Just be a nurse with this, because then you can actually help people who are in a hospital, who are in the place of isolation, aka hospital. Or you could be like a grade 1 teacher, maybe. No, actually, don't do that. Don't do that. Unless you are. If you are, then leave a comment and tell me how that's going for you. But yeah, that's Mars and Pisces in the 7th house. Yeah, generally, just your relationships suck, bro. I get it. Once again, I'm not making fun of you. I have Mars in the 7th house myself, but it's in Virgo. And then I also have like, what else? Mars. Yeah, just Mars. And I have Leo in the 7th house. So I just attract narcissistic assholes with anger issues. So I feel like you could attract drug addicts who get really aggressive when they're high as fuck, you know? That's the situation. And if not, like if you attract really sweet people, if you're in a sweet relationship, then you start to get weird. Like you the one that starts to drink, and then you get angry when you're drunk, and then you become the problematic one, you know. But there's always a situation of it's either being done to you or you are doing it to somebody else. That's the vibe. And then when it comes to your one-on-one relationships, I feel like you are very competitive in relationships. You may be very competitive, or you may attract competitive people who compete with you, or you feel like you have to be in competition with other people, you know, especially if you feel like they are a threat to you or they're doing something better than you, you know. Yeah, that's the vibe. What else do I want to say about this placement? Nothing. No, it just kind of makes you like your relationships, one-on-one relationships are kind of aggressive, and you may feel like the when you are in like one-on-one relationships, you're being taken advantage of, or you are the one taking advantage of other people. But it's always a selfish situation with interpersonal relationships, you know. So it kind of may make you feel like, damn, will I ever find true healthy love? And the answer to that, shorty, maybe no. It's probably no. Yo, hey, I feel you though. I feel you. Moving on now to Mars and Pisces in the 8th house. So the 8th house Mars loves to be in the 8th house, right? So 8th house represents death, transformation, you know, how you handle crisis situations, how you deal in a time of crisis, you know, how you are in a time of crisis. Represents how you transform yourself, you know, how you are after chaotic situations, you know, how you pick up the pieces after everything has been said and done, after everything has burnt. You know, it rules your desires, your sexual desires. It rules over shared assets, inheritance, things that you inherit from your family members, you know. How low-key, how you breaking generational curses, my nigga, to be honest, my dude, my bro. It's really like that. Yeah. So with that being said, having Mars in Pisces in the 8th house can make you really dark. You guys are the ones like Mars and these are Leo risings, right? Mars and Pisces in the 8th house, you guys are like super, like you guys are sex addicts for sure. Like I know this for sure. You guys love sex. You guys are nymphomaniacs. And also masochistics. You guys are super into BDSM for sure, you know, role playing. Yeah, it's giving that, you know. Obviously it doesn't have to be so extreme, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I like to be beaten and being called a SLUT, or HOE, or BITCH, you know, or as a dude, like, ooh, I like being choked and whipped. And you know, it could be that, like, it could be that extreme, you know what I'm saying? But I know for sure, like, you guys love sex, and you guys fantasize, about it. And even in your like, you literally could be alone. You don't even have to touch yourself, like, especially for the women. You don't even have to touch like your CLIT to have an orgasm. You can just literally close your eyes and picture it, and you can feel like your whole body, like, you could have like a whole full body orgasm type shit, you know, even with dudes too, you know. But I don't know, I feel like now, because it's, you know, Neptune is like, the transit right now of Neptune is in Pisces, so that conjuncting your 8th house could also make you really paranoid. I think you guys are like, it is giving schizophrenia, it's giving paranoia, it's giving, what's this one thing, psychosis. It's giving psychosis vibes, on the more extreme ends, especially if it's afflicted, if like, Neptune now is afflicting your Mercury, it could be giving that. But definitely, like, yeah, you guys are paranoid for sure, very psychic, super spiritual. I feel like that's such a given. You guys just know. You guys are super. Your dreams, I mean, I don't have to say it, you guys dream everything. You have fucking, what's this, revelations in your dreams, you know what I'm saying? But yo, the sex addict part, but even with that, because you guys have so much sexual energy, you guys are like incredible healers. It's just, I think you guys are, and like Scorpios who will eventually, like, they'll bubble up with anger and hatred after bottling their suspicions up. I feel like you guys will still continue to internalize, your emotions about people, your paranoias about people and stuff, but instead of like exploding on people, you'll just escape, like you'll just disappear from people. You may get a bad, like, even if you're friends with someone for a minute, and then you kind of sense that, okay, they're about to take advantage of me, instead of like calling them out like a Scorpio would, you will just leave, like you'll escape, you'll ignore them forever, or leave, because you guys be introverted like that. But yeah, you guys just know people. Like, one thing I don't like about water signs, especially water signs that have water, their planets in water houses, you guys just, it's not fair. Like, you just know shit just by being in that, like, just touching somebody, you can know. I not even touching, just looking in someone's eyes, like, you just know that shit. That's horrible for me. Hate that. I have a lot of shit that I'm hiding. I'm an Aquarius rising. Do not invade my psychology. I hate that, but you guys can do that. Anyway, that's the vibe. Moving on now to Mars and Pisces in the 9th house, right? 9th house represents higher education, college, university, traveling overseas, abroad, philosophy, religions, and the practice of learning about a religion or a spiritual practice. It represents the many religions that we have, the many spiritual practices that we have. It represents cultures, ethnicities, traditions, yeah, basically, and how to learn to connect with God, and also distant travel, as I did say. But having Mars in Pisces now, so having Mars in the 9th house, so this is double Jupiter, right? So you guys are definitely escapists. Maybe you don't like to travel overseas, but you like to travel internally. You like having like emotional experiences with people, so you may be the type of person you like traveling just so you can have, like, it's giving serial, it's giving polygamy. If this is definitely like a polygamy placement, I would say. This is for what, all the Cancer risings. Yeah, it's giving polygamy, right? But it's giving polygamy because you feel so intrigued, wanting to experience how other people experience the world. Like, if I'm a Mars in Pisces in the 9th house, I will be so fascinated with you, whoever's watching this, simply for the fact that I feel like your internal emotions is a journey on its own, and I want to get to know that. I want to get to know how you feel about certain things. I want to know how you feel about yourself, and that journey, like, that's exciting for me. But it could also just be a situation like, I like traveling, like Mars and Pisces in the 9th house. You could like traveling regardless. Like, you could want to travel to Korea, Japan, Morocco, Egypt, whatever, just to experience the spirituality of that. Like, you want to experience how other people practice godly things. It could also just be a thing of like rave culture. I feel like it's also giving a rave culture, like, because it's just like, oh, in raves, like when you go to a rave, like you take your little Molly or you drink your little vodka and you just go vibe, and you just vibe out with the music, and everybody eventually gets on the same vibe, because we're all just vibrating to whatever's being played, like the playlist, the music, whatever. So as a Mars and Pisces in the 9th house, I feel like you could be into that. Like, you travel just to go to festivals, just so you can experience those collective emotions with everybody, You know what I'm saying? It's giving that. But as far as like you guys being spiritual, like you guys are super spiritual, and you definitely have prophetic dreams. Also a prayer warrior with this for sure, like way more. Like this placement and Mars and Pisces in the 12th house, super prayer warriors, like times infinity, you know. But extremely messy. I know you are one messy chick, bro. Like if I had to come to your house, it's probably just cats, and maybe you're a hoarder too, you know. Or maybe there's not much, like there's just probably art. And I feel like you definitely give away a lot of the you lose a lot of the shit that you have. Like you just really careless sometimes, because you're absent-minded. But a lot of the more important things that you own, you'll have around, like your bedroom, or they'll probably be at your mom's place, you know. But yeah, you guys are super messy, super messy people. What else do I want to say about this placement? Yeah, it's just the vibe. You guys are super wise, very emotionally wise, emotionally intelligent. It's actually, this one is giving more Sagittarius Mars more than anything, because you also don't, nobody knows whether you're coming or going, you know. You're just riding the waves, you know. You don't know what, you know. If I had to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years, to be honest, you don't fucking know, man. Like you really don't know, bro. Like you really don't know. But it's a thing of, you have faith. Like you have faith that God will put you in a place where you need to be, you know. And I love that for you guys. Like you guys honestly always remind the world to just have faith. But I think sometimes, like, I will be the one to tell you, okay, have faith, but faith without work is dead, you know. But you guys will have faith regardless, you know. You guys just feel like, as long as I have faith, the wave of life will take me where I need to be. And you know, I can respect that. I can respect that for sure. So anyway, with that, moving on to Mars and Pisces in the 10th house for all Gemini risings. So 10th house, Mars in 10th house, exaltation. Mars loves being in the 10th house. But 10th house represents, you know, your career, your how you choose to reach status quo of something, you know, your excuse me how you reach status quo of something, you know, how you attain your goals, your public persona, how people who don't know you like that see you, you know, like when they meet you in person, the energy you give off to people, to strangers, to people that are in the public, you know. Yeah, your public persona, that's basically it, you know. Yeah, so having Mars in the 10th house in Pisces, you definitely known as like a sweet person. I don't like, people don't hate you. You are known as the really sweet, gentle, fairy like spiritual person. Like you're always the person, either comforting people, you know, or people are always coming to you because you just give off the vibe that you are open and like you're willing to sit down and listen to somebody, you know, because you're like sensitive. Like you're perceived as sensitive, you're perceived as sweet, you're perceived as empathetic, you know what I'm saying, and creative, because you are, like, you present yourself like this. You're super creative, super gentle, that's the word. You're very but this is just speaking for Pisces in the 10th house in general. Having Mars here, damn, I feel like having Mars in the 10th house, I think it would make you passionate about, because look, you're already known for being creative, you're already known for being, you know, in these creative spaces, and you're already known for, what's the word, for the creative outlets that you do. So let's say you are a musician, right? So you'll be passionate about creating the music that you have. Like this, honestly, it honestly fuels your creativity, kind of like Mars in the 5th house, you know. But Mars in the 5th house just may make you passionate about all your enjoyment, entertainment levels, and then you kind of may even forget that you like music, you know, because you may be in a relationship and then that relationship has consumed a lot of your emotions, and then that's taking your time. So I feel like with this Mars and Pisces in the 10th house, like this will make you more passionate about like creating and putting your shit out there, especially if you have this with Mercury too. Like you are the more stable Pisces, you know. because well, stable in the eyes of society in terms of like building something for yourself, not just getting lost in, you know, your Pisces illusionary world. Like you'll be the Pisces who actually makes something out of your creativity. You know, you'll create and get money from that, and you'll be passionate about doing that, you know. And obviously, because you have the faith and you pray, like you'll manifest people in your life who will help you with that. Obviously, there will be people who take advantage of you, especially because you look gullible and you look like you're easy to manipulate. You will attract people like that, you know. But eventually, with prayer and believing, I mean, sometimes it doesn't always work out for you guys. Like, you know, the world is weird. Sometimes it doesn't always work out for people like that. Sometimes some people die and they've been used their whole life. It happens, Bafetu. Like, let's acknowledge that, you know. But for majority, because I am positive, I'm optimistic, I'm gonna say this, and I'm wishing this on you guys as well, that regardless of the people that come who take advantage of you, eventually God will come and put you in a position where you are winning, and you are winning because of your creativity. You know, you are known for and you build a life for yourself based on the creative outlets that you have, you know, whether it be singing or artistry or pottery or whatever it is that you're doing, you know. And then you get known for that. And then how you reach status quo, you just really visualize, like you are a dreamer, and you use that to your advantage. You dream you have an idea of where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, and you visualize that, you know. And then, you know, and you may even just be visualizing it just because Pisces, you know, y'all be doing that shit, you know what I'm saying. But with that plus the work that you do, you eventually get to that, you know, that place. And then you'll be the one that can be on TED Talk, and then you talk about how you got to where you are from visualization, from praying, from believing, and from being delusional, because, you know, that's the vibe now. Be a delusional girl, lucky girl syndrome vibes, you know. But yeah, generally you guys are just known for being super creative, super artsy. You just have a really chill art vibe about you, you know. So that's the vibe. 11th house for all the Taurus risings. So 11th house represents social media, you know. Yeah, social media, fucking what else yeah. Social media, your networks, how you network with people. What else? Unfamiliar things. Yo, wow, not me forgetting everything about astrology. Not me. Yeah, 11th house represents things, places and information that you do not know, things and locations in the world that you do not know of, concepts that you don't know. It represents technology, science, you know, science discoveries. I did say technology, but social media. There would be no social media without technology, you know. How you broadcast yourself to the masses. So 11th house basically represents the masses, like the human race as a whole in general. That's 11th house type shit, you know. So having Mars in Pisces in the 11th house as a Taurus rising, I feel like, see, having Mars in the 11th house makes also what, you know, having Mars in the air houses kind of calls for rocky relationships with people. Like you have really, like, I think for you especially, you would have people, like you would just have, when you're in a group of friends, or you've probably experienced like when you were younger, you were in a group and like everybody bullied you, like you were always attacked, or everybody was like ostracizing you in some way, or they were manipulating you, or you were like their slave, like they used you. You were just so usable. They like, or they abused you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the extreme, because Mars is very abusive, and not nice. You know, destructive. Oh, excuse me. Oh. But it's a thing of like, if it was like that, then your friends, you may have been in a situation where your friends were abusive to you. You know, you may have had like really jealous friends who were jealous of you because you're so cool, and you know, other people liked you. People who weren't your friends, like people who you didn't even know like that, they liked you, and you were so pretty and likable. But then the people who were in your friend group, they hated you, and then they would gang up on you, and they probably told you really mean things like, oh, we don't like you because you're like this and like this, and you should you know what I'm saying, like petty shit like that, super petty shit like that. So now it traumatized you in that sense. So now you feel like, okay, I don't want to have friends, so then you isolate yourself, and it could also just be like this on social media, where you could have like a good following, but then you get so much hate from trolls, and then it makes you want to delete social media, or it makes you want to like only use social media to post shit, because you could use like you could be known for being creative, and then people hate on your creativity, but then because you have Pisces placements, and then you be sensitive as shit, you don't like hearing or reading about those mean comments, so then it makes you want to isolate yourself and delete it and escape that. So even with friendships, like with people, it kind of makes you like want to escape people and not have a large group at all. So this would be you would be the person to only have like one friend. Like you only want to be friends with one person or a few people, like even your siblings. You only want to be friends with your family members type shit, because you've already experienced the bullying that comes from having a group of friends. Or maybe not even bullying, maybe there was like like when we're younger, because I also experienced this, but I have Pluto in the 11th, so I kind of resonate with it. And I also have Chiron in the 11th, where like there was we're all in a group of friends, like we're all a group of friends, right? And there's one person who's the boss, and they dictate everything that happens. It could be that situation for you too, and it kind of made you feel not free to live your life how you wanted to live your life, because like like everybody had to listen to them and follow their orders. So even in that, like you don't like friendships because it's like, oh shit, like ugh, like, oh damn, like there always has to be a leader. There's always some kind of control, and like always somebody trying to like dictate everything, and that's something you experience when you are in groups. Or some people may feel like you're the one doing this, like you could be the one doing this, so then people kind of shy away from you. But generally I just feel like because it's in a mutable sign, and it's in a feminine sign, like it's been done to you, so you're the one that's just like, obviously it depends, because if you have like Aries moon, then or your Aries sun or Aries moon and you have this shit, bro, it's definitely you're the one being the dictator. You're the one like doing the most, bossing the group around, manipulating the group to do whatever you want, Oh, once again, you could be the one who has friends like this. Your friends are bossy and they manipulate you to do whatever that they want you to do, etc, etc. But what else did I want to say? Yeah, I just think with this placement, it's easy for you to get hate on the internet, like, and you'll get a lot of hate from the internet. You'll have a lot of secret enemies. Actually, no, you'll have a lot of obvious enemies. I think Pluto in the 11th house. I'll have like secret enemies, but I think because Pluto's a tricky thing. But we already did my shit. We already did Pluto. No, we haven't done Pluto. We're gonna do Pluto later. We'll do Pluto in the houses later. But yeah, that's the most part. Anyway, on now to Mars and Pisces in the 12th house, last but not least. So 12th house represents Pisces vibes. This is a double Pisces vibe, Actually, I just want to point out, like, I've been super hazy and like super I feel like this, how I've been speaking, is definitely giving Pisces. Anyway, and it's Pisces season, and there's the stellium in Pisces. Jeez, and I'm a Virgo. There's so much oppositions to my sun and my Mars in Virgo. Anyway, having Mars and Pisces in the 12th house is a double entendre. Not double entendre. It's a double whammy with the Pisces vibe, right? Because Pisces is ruled by the 12th house, as I've said. So having Mars and Pisces in the 12th house as an Aries rising, this makes you super, super passive as a person. And also because you're Aries rising, like, and you have all the signs in their respective homes, like this makes you super spiritual, bro. I'm not surprised if you were raised in like a super spiritual home where because you would have, depends on your sign. I would say your dad would probably be the one who influenced a lot of your spiritual choices. You probably went to your Buddhist temples, Hindu temples, church, whatever, with your dad, and your dad was the one who taught you a lot about like the world and how to view the world and stuff like that. Maybe your dad was the one who introduced you to spirituality and stuff. On one end, maybe your dad just wasn't there, he wasn't present, because Pisces 12th house can make things escape and unknown. Just unknown, elusive, very much elusive vibes. But yeah, like I feel like Mars and Pisces people, you guys are like super passive for sure with this placement. Like you guys have a big issue with expressing your anger for sure. And I feel like with this, it's definitely, earlier I was saying that like you guys are the least likely to become addicts, but I think with having Mars and Pisces in the 12th house, it definitely could. And then when you're drunk, like you get uncontrollably angry, especially when it comes to alcohol. But I think it depends on the drug, so I think also in that sense you could shy away from alcohol, and then your escape could be art, or it could just be isolation. You're just isolated, like you don't even like answering your phone, or your escape is relationships, or your escape is television, drawing, being with your friends. I don't know other way. I don't know other, or reading a book. Definitely reading a book, watching movies, watching videos. Whatever you do, bro, whatever corny shit you do, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna give that though. In terms of sex, like I think you're a pleaser. You enjoy giving. You're a giver when it comes to sex. You are fulfilled by fulfilling the needs of other people. So in that sense, it's sometimes you can put yourself in a situation where you do get taken advantage of, just because of how you make it so accessible for people to use you. But on one end, once again, like because you're so kind and compassionate, people know like they can come to you, and you always know exactly what to do to assist them. Obviously not everybody's gonna use you. That's more on the extreme ends, on the more negative ends. But I feel like you also enjoy, like you get fulfilled from being of service to other people, especially of emotional service, and offering emotional advice for people who are in emotional distress. Yeah, that's the vibe. But in terms of creativity, you guys are super creative. I would say you guys are super smart. Like you guys are probably into physics as well, like super into physics, or chemistry. You're into, what else I want to say with this placement? Obviously you're into the arts. I feel like you're like an art nerd. All the great artists, except like not the common ones, like the Michelangelo, whatever, Picasso. Like you like to know other artists, like even locally from your own environment, like your own neighborhoods, your own country, continent, whatever. You like knowing those kinds of artists and just stretching out your knowledge and your wisdom about whatever art that you're into. So even if you're into film, you want to know about like all your favorite directors, and you like to watch all their movies, because you like to escape in all their movies, but then again, it could be also a thing of ambiguity, where you like everything, like you like all forms of art, and you like to know about as much of the artist as possible. So if it's a musician, you want to know as much as about the musician as possible. If it's about an artist, you want to know as much as you want to know about the artist as much as you can. film, the director, the cinematographer. You want to know all about them. What else? The chef. I don't know, whatever, pottery. You just want to know all about that, just because you like to completely lose yourself in whatever it is that you are escaping in at the moment, But I would obviously, guys, watch out for drugs. Watch yourself when it comes to substances, because you all know how y'all be. Period. But yeah, as far as that's it, guys. That is the end of the Mars series. I am so glad we are done with this. Oh my god, you have no idea. So with that being said, guys, if you would like a reading from me, hit me up, because I do offer readings where we go more in detail about your life and your chart. So if you want that, you got it. Just hit me up on my socials, and yeah, we'll get to it. Other than that, thank you so much for joining me. It's been so long. It's been 8 months. It's been 9 months. I could have had a whole child by now, but we did it. It's over. Excuse me. And see you in the next series, which will be the Sun Sign series. Mwah.